As soon as your people, our people, identify you to be the diaspora king, these kingmakers, all the way from Nigeria, will come to that country in conjunction with the Igbo people in that country where you live to crown you and put a cap on you as their king.
Interesting.
So these diaspora and kingmakers came down to Nigeria with the entire Igbo community in Ghana, and they made me their king.
Now tell me, for how long have you been crowned king?
Of God, this is exactly 11 years. I was crowned king 30th of August 2012.
Crowned king indeed. And now those kingmakers or Igbo traditional leaders in Igbo land Nigeria say don't call yourself king anymore. Hi everyone, welcome to Ghana Observer. The clip I just shared was an interview from several years ago with this Igbo leader in Ghana who calls himself king, and it relates to a recent video he made within the last week decrying the fact that traditional leaders in Igbo land in Nigeria have sent out an edict that no one outside of Igbo land residing on foreign land should be calling himself king. No one on foreign land outside of Nigeria should be calling himself king. Let that sink in. So let's see what that order entails and also the genesis of this whole king of diaspora phenomenon, how that whole structure began. So according to the description of the video, Eze Igbo Ghana responds to ban on diaspora essays. Eze Igbo Ghana has spoken out against the recent decision by traditional rulers in Igbo land, Nigeria, to ban essays in the diaspora from using the title Eze. According to the decree, Igbo traditional rulers at home want diaspora leaders to adopt the title Onye Indu, which means leader in Igbo instead. However, the Association of Ezes in the diaspora, for which this man who calls himself king serves as publicity secretary, strongly rejected this decision. He argued that diaspora Ezes were not appointed by the traditional rulers in Nigeria, but by their respective Igbo communities abroad. Furthermore, the title Onye Indu is already used by local community heads, making the change impractical. According to this man who calls himself king, it's impractical. Have we not been saying this man is the leader of Igbos in Ghana and not a king? This self-aggrandizing man who calls himself king is actually a leader and not a king. We've been saying that all along. Also, if, as according to this man who calls himself king, they're not appointed by the traditional Igbo leaders, but by respective Igbo communities in foreign countries, why do they need to be acknowledged by the so-called kingmakers or traditional leaders? Why?
As soon as your people, our people, identify you to be the diaspora king, these kingmakers, all the way from Nigeria, will come to that country in conjunction with the Igbo people in that country where you live to crown you and put a cap on you as their king.
Interesting.
So these diaspora and kingmakers came down to Nigeria with the entire Igbo community in Ghana, and they made me their king.
So this 419 king is really trying to get us to believe that he's not submissive or submitting to the rule or the decision by the Igbo traditional rulers. He's not ready to submit to that rule. But then here's a clip where he claims that he's submissive to Ghanaian authority. Yeah, right.
So we are pleased to the entire leadership of Ghana, from traditional institution to government, by the special grace of God, they know of our existence, and we are submissive. The entire Igbos, this throne, we are submissive to the authority of Ghana. We are submissive to traditional institution of Ghana. We are submissive to government institution of Ghana. We are not challenging any authority in Ghana, but rather we are submissive to the authority because we are foreigners. And anything that we do must be according to the rules and regulation of the land. We cannot dwell here or having Igbo kingship without the approval of the land. If the landowner, the landlords, the host nation, if they don't want the existence of we Nigerians or Igbos in this country, we will not function. But because they gave us the opportunity, that's why we're functioning. So we are submissive to the authority, and we promise to be loyal to the authority of the land at all times.
You, this man who calls yourself king, how about you submit to the edict that just came out from your traditional rulers in Igbo land that you are not a king, but a leader of Igbo people in Ghana? How about you start from there? Because you're doing whatever in Ghana. We Ghanaians who are the landowners say we don't like what you're doing. You are not a king. So how come you are installing sub-chiefs or sub-kings in all 16 regions?
Now, traditionally, I am their king to the glory of God. You know, in Ghana, the way they call Nana, Nene, Ni, that represent king in English. Eze, Igwe, means a king. So I am their king that see to all the Igbos that live in Ghana.
Right.
Then I also have other sub-kings in charge of various local governments and the regions.
And what, pray tell, do you mean by in charge of local governments and regions? Are you running a government in Ghana? You're not Ghanaian. And when one asks pertinent questions, some ignorant Nigerians will come and support this BS. Let's start from there. You are an Igbo leader. And when we call you out and we say you are 419, you are Azan, you don't get it. Because we see through you. And now you begin to implode from inside. Your own traditional rulers say, do not call yourself a king. You are an Igbo leader, which we've been saying all along. And now that your own traditional rulers in Igbo land have said you have no authority apart from being a leader to the Igbos in Ghana, you have no right to be installing anyone because you are not king. So how about you start from there before giving us tall tales? Because we see what you do. You do not submit. If the agenda does not suit you, you don't go along. Because now you cannot use the name king and it does not suit that agenda of your self-aggrandizing ways, you are rejecting it. So this fallacy that you're trying to spread, that you submit yourself to the rules and regulations of Ghana, is a delusional fallacy in your own mind. But I don't blame you. I blame our useless, but let me put some. I blame some of our useless, gutless, unpatriotic leaders, because that's who you say you are grateful to, and you get away with stuff. But we Ghanaians, we see you, and we've been calling you out. We've been calling your 419 ways out. And now you see that the implosion is coming from within. Your own traditional leaders in Igbo land said you should not call yourself king because you are not a king, you are a leader. What you are doing in Ghana, can you do it in Hausa land? Can you go, those that are trying to spread Sharia law, whatever they call it, they are coming to Southeast, they are coming to South. Can you do this, what you are doing, installing mini chiefs? Your disrespect is out of this world. We are not fooled by your words. Your actions speak louder than your words. So this fake humility is what it is. You cannot do this in Hausa land and you cannot do this in Yoruba land. In Lagos, you are being chased away.
Igbo must go. I did Lagos. And for the first time since I've been hearing about Igbo-Yoruba confrontation in Lagos, in Nigeria, you can actually see real panic on the faces of these Igbo people. And then I began to wonder. So all of these times we've been hearing things like Lagos is no man's land. So a set of people can actually threaten to chase another set of people from Lagos, and they can be in so much panic. Thank God for the timely intervention of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. But my concern is this. These are the same set of people that will tell you, leave us, let us go. We want to do Biafra. But now they are saying, okay, go. But then you started complaining. Our businesses, our properties. what exactly does the Igbo man want? Let me just tell you something, and this statement is void of tribal bias. If this old disregard still continues, then the intervention by Mr. Governor is just a temporary solution. The ticking time bomb will still explode. The Yorubas will say, "Awolumate inwara elumo." That is, if you go into a particular place and you are living there in peace and harmony without problem, it simply means you are respecting yourself. There is beauty in one Nigeria, but not when I come to your place and I respect you, and then you come to my place and serve me bullshit. It doesn't work that way.
You've come to Ghana, we are peaceful people, we have accommodated you, but you insist. But now you see where the implosion is coming from within. And that's what I said in one of my videos. Some of you will run when no one is chasing you. You will implode, and it will not be from Ghanaians, because Ghanaians are not violent. But you see where the implosion is coming from. Your traditional rulers in Nigeria, in Igbo land, said, don't call yourself king, and you say you do whatever. And if you are rejecting those that put the crown on your head, then how much more our so-called leaders here? Some of our gutless, useless leaders who just let everything slide, who are more reactive than proactive. Ghanaian people have seen what is going on. Just like the election shocked some people, Ghanaians will shock you. And again, because Nigerians think differently. When I'm speaking like this, I'm not talking about violence. You take it as violence because you are a violent, chaotic people. But Ghanaians are not like that. You see where the implosion, I will repeat it again, the implosion will come from within. You are being rejected as king by your own Igbo traditional rulers. And folks, you're not going to believe this. This has been an ongoing battle for some time now. I found an article dated approximately 5 years ago, November 2020, entitled Igbo Monarchs Battle is the Igbo in Diaspora. I'll put the link in the description so that you can read it for yourselves. It says, there is an Igbo title used outside Igbo land, quote, portrays great disrespect, disservice, and bastardization of Igbo custom and tradition. It's against Igbo tradition to have traditional rulers outside Igbo land. An Eze should rule a community that has a map showing the area of his authority and the constitution that guides his rulership. No one can be an Eze in another person's land or state. His own traditional ruler says what he's doing in Ghana is illegal. According to them, tenants should not talk of having palaces in foreign lands where they reside. Let's find out where all this diaspora kingship started from. As I mentioned, what is the genesis of this system? Where did this system originate from?
Who anointed you to become the king of the Igbo?
Good. In the structure of Igbo kingship in diaspora, it was a structure built and expanded by our father called Odumogu Ojukwu. According to history, during the time of Biafran War, when they were fighting Biafran War, one of his allied loved tradition a lot. Even if you are shot, he will get leaves and all that torturing you. The palate and everything will go out of your body. Now, finally, the man was able to travel to abroad. So after the war, Ojukwu traveled to US to visit his friend. As he got there, his friend's sons came to greet him with their trousers below their boots. And they said, hi. He asked his friend, you that love tradition and culture, how come your children have no cultural morals of our people? He said, that's what America has given to them. Ojukwu said, no. From now henceforth, I just think about something. Let us establish Igbo throne in diaspora, where our sons and daughters were giving birth to them in diaspora. We understand where they're coming from, perform our culture, follow up our tradition, respect the people, bring that love together, unity together, and know where they're coming from. He conceived this idea.
Ojukwu said that?
Yes, Ojukwu said this. So as he got home to Nigeria, he started reaching out the paramounts in Igbo land and tell them this is what he say and what he think they're gonna do. And all the great paramounts came together and first of all crown him the Ezigbo. Buruburu, that's the entire Ezigbo all over the world. It's like an apostle. When they have given you a mantle, go around the world and look for the apostles and ordain them.
Right.
Then he started moving from one country to other, bringing Igbos together, ordaining them by making them Ezigbo Ghana. To God be the glory. He have kingmakers, the diaspora kingmakers that he also ordained, because a king cannot make a king. I rose to this level based on my humility, based on my understanding about people, based on my submissiveness to my elders and to people around me.
Oh, wow.
And I did not beg for it. By the grace of God, I am the chosen one. Many are called, but few are chosen, to the glory of God.
Folks, is it just me, or does anyone else find it strange that this whole diaspora kingship thing, structure, or whatever they call it, was set up or was founded by the secessionist leader of Biafra, by this man Ojukwu, who wanted to separate from Nigeria? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I just found it strange, because with such a person, with such a mindset, there's not going to be any integration in any society they find themselves in. It's all going to be about separation, isolation. But maybe I'm overthinking it. So to sum up, this self-aggrandizing man who calls himself king, whatever he's doing is illegal. The traditional rulers in Igbo land are completely against it, are saying no one should be calling themselves king. I found this whole thing fascinating. Some of us have been calling him out. Some of us Ghanaians have been calling him out. We could sense the insincerity, the 419ness. Yeah, there was something off. But to have it confirmed that what he's doing is actually illegal, as I said, that it's going to implode, and it's going to come from within. Their own traditional rulers are beginning to call them out. You are not king. And one thing that Nigerians should be aware of, this tendency that you go into other people's countries and then you see a loophole and you take advantage, it always will backfire. And that's why people dislike you so much. Because whatever loophole, vulnerability you see, you want to take advantage. And that's why your country is a mess. Because you take advantage, you oppress, you suppress, and it doesn't work. It won't work in Ghana. Your nefarious deeds, it's not going to work. Folks, I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.